Good afternoon, everyone. And I'm Christine, and I'm the co-founder of the fashion brand PHI PHAM. So before I start my talk today, I would like to just ask by a show of hand, how many of you actually prepared the outfit that you're wearing the day before? No one? Just like 1, 2? Okay, so how many of you actually spend about 10 to 15 minutes preparing your outfit that you're wearing today? Okay, more hands. Oh, but that's not even the 1/3 of you who are thinking actively about the way that you dress. And that's just showing to me that most of us just think of fashion just as a way to represent ourselves, to look presentable every single day. But the fact is that we are a participant of fashion in everyday life. Every day that you put on your clothes and you take it off, you're participating in fashion, whether you like it or not. And since the day that you were born, the first thing that your parents must have given you is a piece of clothing. And therefore, all of us are using clothes almost as our second skin. But not many of us, by just a show of hands just now, really think effectively about how to use fashion as your voice, as a way to express yourself, as a way to make a statement about your personality and your identity. And I'm really here to challenge you to think of dressing as a mindful activity every day. Because clothes has a power to transform your mind, has a power to connect and communicate with the people around you. And instead of being a reactive participant of fashion, you should let clothes you wear empower you. But how do you do that? To do that is to establish a sense of style. And fashion is different from style. Style is to understand who you are and put that personality on the clothes that you wear. In another word, is to emotionally and intelligently connect with your clothes. But that is not how we are connecting with our clothes nowadays. In fact, we're only visually getting information about how we dress and about what is our sense of beauty. In fact, that you know how to dress most likely from just observing the people that you meet every day, your parents, your relatives, your friends, and increasingly on the television, the celebrities that you watch, the magazines that you read, and nowadays just social media. And you keep constantly getting in visual information about how to dress, and you think, okay, that's a good outfit, that's how I should look and how I should dress. But you're not really putting yourself in that picture. You're not actively thinking about that standard of beauty. So in reality, your opinion of what you should dress is mostly subjected to the standard of the society. And there's so many different trends in the society about the way to dress. And one of the most significant trends that I have observed since I came back to Vietnam is this sense of ultra-feminine. I don't know if you know it, but I have spent 3 years of working with local designers here in Vietnam. And I think every girl here is kind of guilty of loving this kind of clothing. And what is ultra-feminine? Is using texture and using material that's very light, very soft, like lace, like mesh. And also in the whole image, the lookbook that these fashion designers are putting out is a whole outfit of being very girly, very feminine. There's nothing structured here. I'm not saying that there's something wrong with being feminine, but I'm just saying that it's a big trend that everybody's following kind of mindlessly. And then in reacting to that trend, I have my colleagues in my company and the people that I work with who really doesn't like this ultra-feminine. And we create a slang in Vietnamese to protest against it, to say something like bánh bèo. So why is like a cake that, that you eat every single day in Vietnam being used to describe a woman? I'm like, what's going on? So, but instead of saying like a lady is like feminine, my co-founder will be like, oh, she looks so bánh bèo. And I'm like, what are you thinking? So I realized that, people like us really hate this word. And so everything that's soft textured of the cake is then being contrasted with how the girls is also very soft-hearted and very, very feminine. And because we are really rebelling against the Vietnamese culture of ultra-feminine, then we want to look like, I want to use the word bang bell to say that we don't want to be part of that trend. And another trend that I have really been baffled by is how popular the beauty pageants in Vietnam. In our Western world, and I grew up in Singapore, Miss something or a beauty pageant winner is really frowned upon. Nobody give any respect to them because it's just beauty. But in Vietnam, do you know that the A-list celebrities are not your singers and not your actors, but the winners of beauty pageants? They're the most expensive to work with, and they grace every single covers. And that just showed me something, that our society, or the Vietnamese society, really look up to a defined standard of beauty, that we're not intelligently, emotionally thinking about what is beautiful. We're just following trends, and we just want to tell people to tell us what is beauty. And how do we break away from that? How do we know whether we want to dress like Bang Bell or not? I mean, it's not something wrong to do so. But to have that, you have to know yourself. And to have style is to know your identity. And it's not an easy thing to do because your identity has so many different aspects. You have ethnicity, your race, your gender, your personality, social status, and nationality. And I don't think many of you here actually think about all these aspects of your identity. But if you think about it, I'm not saying that each of the outfit that you wear has to encompass all of this. But if you just think about one aspect of yourself every day when you dress, then you are dressing with a sense of purpose and a sense of self-awareness. And to help you to do that, I've come up with 3 standard questions. I mean, they are just questions for you to think about how to incorporate identity in your dressing. And the first is, what role do I play today? I think not many of you look at your wardrobe or when you go out shopping and think about your roles. I mean, who does that? But the fact is that we have roles that we play. Our identity gives us 2 types. The personal identity, that means your personality, your preferences, your hobbies, and then your social identity. That is the role that you play as a family member. You are a mother or a sister, or you are a boss or employee, or the person you are in your community. And your dressing should really express these roles that you play. For example, if you're a boss, you want to inspire confidence and you want to inspire power. But if, let's say, you are an artist, then you want to inspire creativity. Or if you're a mom-to-be, would you be dressing like Victoria Beckham when she was first pregnant with her son? She was really proud of her identity as a mother, and she was always photographed in bodycon dresses, and that's how she's really wearing her identity. And the second question is, what am I trying to communicate? Our clothes are visual communicators. Whether you want it or not, the first thing that I think about anyone is through the ways that they dress. And whether you want or not, subconsciously, you're communicating a message. So instead of just waiting for an occasion like a wedding or a first job interview to dress up, think of every day as an occasion to say something to the world around you, whether it's a mood or an inspired message or an aspiration. And there are tools, because if fashion is a language, then there must be techniques to use fashion. And think about colors. How many of you actually look at the way you dress? I mean, if you go shopping, do you actually actively think about the colors and how it can affect you? I mean, that is pink, looks like purple, but pink, if someone is wearing pink, I feel like I can really approach you. Or people who work in banking or finance, most of the time are seen in blue because they want to inspire a sense of confidence, a sense of calm. Or, you know, purple is loud and unique. I don't see anybody wearing purple here today. Or happy and cheerful. I myself love the color orange, and I'm always feeling that because that's my identity. Sometimes when you go out shopping, you're constantly or instantly drawn to a type of color. And do you know why is that so? Because it's part of your personal identity that you are trying to seek out in your clothes. Another way of expressing yourself is through shapes and silhouettes. How many of you actually look yourself in the mirror naked and think, what shape am I? How many of you really know like what body type you are? Think about that in 1 minute and do that exercise. Because if you know your body shape, and there's so many different types of body shapes, then you can dress better. You will be able to do it confidently. You will not be shopping mindlessly, but you know what kind of features you need to show off as a person and what kind of features you want to hide. And that means that you're dressing with a sense of knowledge and a sense of awareness about your own body. And there's so many different shapes and silhouettes. But to know how to play with fashion and to use fashion, then you need to know yourself first. And finally, I think this is a question that most of you don't ever ask about yourself when you go shopping. But think about, what do you want to be seen wearing in 3 years' time? Everybody sitting here in this auditorium has dreams and goals and aspirations that you want to achieve in 3 years' time. So why are you waiting for, if you want to be a business leader, want to be successful at something, then why are you waiting for that moment to come? I was actually a political student when I was in university, and I already knew that I wanted to work in fashion. So instead of wearing very boring outfits every day to university, I was seen wearing different colors and different shapes. And I was always asked by my lecturers and my fellow students, are you going to do something in fashion? And that's it. That's how I start by imagining how I would dress like if I were to work in fashion. And fashion has the ability, clothes, like we said, communicate, and fashion therefore allow you to envision the person that you are in the future. So think about the lifestyle you want to be, the person that you want to be the next time you go out shopping. So to end, I want to leave you with 2 quotes. And even though I work in fashion, but I really want to encourage people to have style more than to think about fashion, because fashion itself is mindless. It's just clothing being produced until you have style and you're looking at yourself and thinking, what am I doing with this piece of clothing? And that's being intelligent. And fashion comes from outside, as we said. Fashion is just about visual information, but to have style, to really use fashion, then it comes from understanding who you are, comes from within. So the next time that you go out shopping, think about how clothes can really transform you and transform the way that you communicate with the people around you. And also remember that style, your style, will change. It would not come instantly, and it will change with you as you grow and as you change on different phases of your life. And let fashion be as part of your life. It's not just passing by. Thank you.